Okay, today we're going to touch on a walkthrough video for our new Elite 530. It's been around for a while, we haven't had a chance to do a video. But yeah, today we'll run through a video on the features on it, what makes it different, what makes it special. Obviously there's been a few, not so obviously, there have been a few slight changes from when we first put it out there. We've changed a few things slightly, a little bit more reinforcing in some areas. Just a few things, but we'll touch on that as we go through the video. So, as a basic overall look, the Elite 530 was a concept that I'd been fiddling with in my head for quite a while, and we spent about a year developing the ski itself. The thought process was behind making something that's, that big step up, being lighter, but still very strong, and have a few different features. So it almost become like our flagship kayak. 530, the reason the length is 530, that's about as long as we can go for it to comfortably fit inside a garage or a carport or somewhere where you need to store it. So that's where the length came from. Basically what I did is I took sort of almost like a 575 concept, a little bit flatter rocker. Okay, we shortened the kayak, gave it some nice meaty, beefy tail, took a little bit of volume out of it. So we took volume out of the ski to help reduce the weight, but we added volume in certain areas of the ski to help the performance. The flatter rocker, obviously, as you know, with a flatter rocker, more waterline length means a little bit faster. So those are the basic thought process that ran through my head when we put this together. As a ski as a whole, I've been fishing on this probably on my one for over a year now, and I'm just absolutely loving it. Just finding what I wanted to get out of it is more than actually I'd hoped, to be honest, in terms of performance, in terms of just the little things that I did. So we'll run through each thing, starting at the front, like in all our kayaks, 2 bung holes. The front bung hole, or drainage hole, this drains the whole kayak, okay? The second drain hole drains your fish hatch. So your fish hatch, as you'll see when we open it, runs from there to there, okay? Front carry handle, back carry handle, standard plastic molded carry handles that we have. Then we get to the rod elastic, standard rod elastic like you see on all our kayaks, with the scratch pad. It's a clear vinyl scratch pad, which we do on all our kayaks now. So you can't really see it, but this is what prevents the scratching, also stops the paddle from sliding. In this case, we obviously we have a video where you can see us putting the stickers on and applying the vinyl on afterwards. So this is the front. Then we get to a drag handle. So now one of the unique features about the Elite is the drag handles and side handles are a reinforced webbing with a neoprene covering so that you see it stands proud. It's nice and soft on the hands, and it's really, really comfortable handle. And I find just a step up on the handles and the traditional handles that we have in all our skis. So yeah, here neoprene handle, drag handle and side handles all the same, fitted the same way. Then we go to a little bit further back, standard splash cover with your fish hatch lid. Another unique feature about the 530 is your recessed area here in front of the pedals. For various reasons, in some countries the ability to put like a Railblazer fitting or a Scotty mount fitting where you can put a mount here and you can run a rod hole there at a sort of so 90-degree angle to your ski. So you have 2 rods sitting out like this. I've fished just like that in Cape Vidal in a drift, and it works very well. So this allows you to add a Railblazer fitting and one of those rod holders that you would clip in. The same thing if you put a Railblazer fitting here, you can put your, what we would call in South Africa, your Bugomina fitting, your fitting for your GoPro camera. So if you like to watch videos of yourself, this is where you put your GoPro into the fitting here. Or you could just run a basic standard, stock standard, stealth upright rod holder where you can fit it either side, put that in. While you're sitting, you have a bait up, what we call a bait up rod holder straight in. So these rod holder positions allow your bait up rod hold, your Railblazer fittings, your camera mounts, all that you might do. And of course, like I say, different style of rod holders for depending on what kind of fishing you're doing wherever you are. So that's the big difference in terms of something that you can see on a stealth kayak. So like I said, we go back to the fish hatch. Standard adjustable pedals, foot straps, everything in this case, is standard with all the kayaks that we have. So pedals which run your rudder, you can fully adjust them, you can adjust the cables so that you keep the rudder straight, and of course to suit your height you adjust the pedals accordingly. The lid on the Elite 530 is a carbon vacuum lid, so the lid is actually vacuumed and not pressed, which is different from our standard models. This lid itself also makes it lighter than a traditional fish hatch lid. So another process, the lid itself also made differently, slightly different materials, makes it a little bit lighter. Then you get to the fish hatch itself. So one thing you'll see is the fish hatch is white. All our other kayaks is a light grey. The white fish hatch is the process that we use to make the fish hatch. The fish hatch itself, the live well box, the dry box, all made in the same way. All of these three components, we vacuum mold them, or we vacuum process to bring the weight right down. Use slightly different materials to do it, but the weight of the three hatches together is significantly lighter than a standard setup on any other boat. So white gel coat, once again, like the whole ski, white gel coat, because of the materials and the resin system that we're using, we only have a white gel coat that it currently works with the system that we're doing. So white fish hatch, nice and clean look. And as you can see, standard fish hatch. So the fish hatch runs from here, where your live well ends, all the way to your front bung. So you get your 7-foot rods and everything into the hatch quite comfortably. It does have the stainless steel rod bar, like on the Pro Fisher model, so you've got your stainless steel rod bar. When you look inside, you'll also see the pipe, which comes from the Fish Finder Transducer, so you know what we're on about. Another unique or different feature that we added to the Elite is a conduit. So we put a nice new neat conduit aluminum glass, which basically is for your fish finder cables. So you'll see your fish finder cables will come from underneath through your transducer recess, through the pipe. Now they run into there and run in here. So it just keeps them neat. Instead of having your cables all wrapped up here, now it just fits in here. It'll come out in the front here, where you can plug it into your finder, depending on how you've connected on the lid, whether it be a flush mount lid or however you've chosen to do it. But the conduit just neatens it up. That's another little unique feature that we've done. Okay, so when you move to there, and then we have your typical live weight well that we have in all the kayaks now, that sits between your feet. That's in here, as per all the other kayaks, it's your live well. Then we run to your 2 trawling rod holders, standard like in all stealths, with the plastic saddles to connect your rod leashes. 2 upright rod holders with a plastic saddle to connect your rod leashes. This particular 530 has a folding hatch, okay, which is not standard on all kayaks, but this kayak is being shipped to Australia, and this is one of the things the dealer chooses. He has a folding hatch with a safety strap so that the hatch itself can't pop open going in and out of the surf. So normal screw-in lid, which is on all the kayaks, that comes standard, but you have the option to upgrade the lid if you want to. Then we come back to obviously the typical rudder box with a rudder cover. Once again, white gel coat, but carbon vacuum just like the lid. And then of course you have your rudder. So your rudder on the Elite 530, if you have a look at it, is slightly different from all the other kayaks as well. It's just a little bit narrower, a little bit more petite. Works very, very well. Kayak turns on like a dream on it. Also, we make the rudder slightly different using a foam core and a few other things to keep the weight of the rudder down. So like every little component we've done here, we do something slightly different to what we traditionally do to keep the weight down. It does add obviously a cost to it because using sort of fancier, more expensive materials, but the concept behind this kayak was we wanted to make the kayak as light as possible, but still have the strength and a few extra features on our traditional kayak. So that's why the Elite fits in. So we get to the back, here we go, we got your back carry handle. And if you have a look here, you will see that the tail has got a little bit more volume for the size of the ski than what you'll see in some of the other models. As I said, it was part of my design thinking for the water length to make the ski fast. So as a whole, you have your Elite 530. 530, if you know the stealth model, every number generally predicts the length. So this is 5.3 meters long. It's 0.605 meters wide, which in some cases people go, yeah, that's very narrow. In comparison to other skis in the range, it is narrow. But the depth of the seat and the design and positioning of the seat that I put into this kayak makes it super, super stable. You know, I find that this kayak is probably as stable as any of the ones that I've been paddling. Sometimes maybe I'm used to a very unstable ski, so people might find it different to the way I see it, but I find it so stable. To sit side saddle, to fish, to do everything. I find it positioning and ergonomics of the seat and the design of all this very, very, very comfortable. Okay, so that's like a general overview of the ski. The important factor of the Elite ski as well is we manufacture it currently in two versions. We got a hybrid version, okay, and a full carbon version. The hybrid version, we have a glass deck, carbon sandwich hull. So the carbon hull has full carbon fiber materials with specialized cores and some other glass in certain areas for the carbon version. So the deck is actually glass, the hull is carbon. The reason why I make the hull carbon is to give the ski a little bit more stiffness. Once again, the ski's got a little bit stiffer, it glides a little better, runs a little bit truer, so your performance from the carbon and the hull is a step up. So that's why we put it in the hull. Obviously a full carbon is a full carbon. We'd go carbon deck, carbon hull, everywhere you look there's carbon fiber, brings the weight down a little bit more again, and obviously increases the performance. When we first made the Elite 530, we produced them at about 22 to 22.5 kilos. That was our consistency, what we did. We made about 3 or 4, I went and did a few tests, I did a few things. And since then, we've obviously added reinforcing to certain areas because we changed the glass in specific ways. So I'll use an example. This specific area in your rod holder from here to here. Traditional skis got a little bit of reinforcing differently. This ski has a reinforcing over a broader area compared to the first ones that I made. So we reinforced this area more than what we did in the first few models that we launched in here. We also beefed up a few sections on the ski itself just to add a little bit of stiffness, because I find the stiffness in a certain way in certain places also helps the performance of the kayak. So ultimately, what have we come to? We've come to a ski now, which is the hybrid 530, which, I mean, we recently made a batch for Australia, which was bang on the money. Every single one of them was between 23 and 23.5 kgs. That's stock standard. We're getting a really good consistency with the ski. So we changed the way we've done a few things. So when we said in the beginning, maybe the ski would be at 22 kilos, I've added less than 5% in weight, you get another kilo, but it's all reinforcing, like I say, reinforcing the rod holes, reinforcing here, which is, I find was critical for certain reasons. I mean, I can leave it out, but one thing I've learned over manufacturing kayaks over the years is what I can do, or maybe a guy who's fished for 10 years, how he looks after a ski or how he maintains it is very different to a guy who maybe has been fishing for a little bit longer and is maybe a little bit harder on the ski. And I like to add the reinforcing and the stuff, so the guy who's a little bit harder on the ski, it makes no difference, if you know what I'm trying to say. It's not that we have to do it, but I find it a necessity for the long-term longevity of certain areas in the kayak and certain performance features on the kayak. So yeah, the Elite 530 hybrid, 23 to 23.5 kilos. Obviously, when you do things like you change a hatch and you change a buckle and you add things that are off a standard, will increase the weight slightly, half a kilo here, half a kilo there, but that's it. You're gonna get a ski that's so light. At that weight, when you compare it to another ski, you actually pick it up straight away and you notice the difference. Then of course, you take a step back to the full carbon with a foam core and everything we do. There, once again, you lose about another 2 to 2.5, depending on a few things that we add to it, maybe 3 kilos. So that we've targeted now as a flat 20 kg kayak when you produce it in the full carbon construction. So yeah, so that is basically the ski as a whole. The only feature we didn't touch on in the video, which is obviously your traditional transducer resource on the Elite 530s. Once again, white cover like we've spoken about, also vacuumed, and this is how you have access to your transducer and through onto the pipe, and also into the conduit and the thing. So yeah, that's the Elite 530. Finally managed to get a touch-up video on it, follow and run to it. So yeah, it's like I say, I've been fishing on one for over a year now and super stoked with the way it performs and the way it handles and what I get out of it. And yeah, we hope you enjoy this kayak, and it's been a great addition to our range, and looking forward to seeing a lot more of them on the water. Thank you.